When I was an 18-year-old kid moving into Donner Hall for my first year in acting conservatory, I brought all the things that a normal kid would bring. I had boxes full of journals that were full of overly earnest babble. I had mixtapes, and I had more clean undergarments than should be legal. But I also had a very special box marked theater, and in it I brought things like leg warmers and unitards, it was the 80s after all, and a very special pair of shoes. They're called character shoes, and this is actually my pair of character shoes. I've owned them for over 25 years. Now, at first glance, they look super boring. They are low-heeled, they look like a good sturdy walking shoe, a grown-up go-to-meeting shoe, but listen, if you turn them sideways, they're gonna give you up all their secrets. Right here, they're shanked with a reinforcing steel at the heel, and that's so when you're shuffling off to Buffalo, you don't break off the heel and ruin the moment. They're also specially rubberized on the sole, and that's so when you're raising the emotive roof in Ophelia's soliloquy, you don't step on your costume and blow the whole show. I suspect in the near to 1,000 times I've played some type of character on stage, from my auspicious beginnings as a bovine all the way through doing 2 years of the hand jive in New York. I've worn something like this character shoe, if not this character shoe and its twin. You know, as young actors in training, our artsy and credentialed professors encouraged us to stay ready for any audition opportunity that we might happen upon. Now for me, that meant loading up a duffel bag in the back of my Phoenix and keeping it full of headshots and resumes and those ubiquitous character shoes. Because we lived for that old audition magic when we'd gone to the audition and we'd made it past the initial cut, and then we'd been invited to something that's called a callback. And that just means they want to see more of you. And I can remember dance captains coming through the halls and telling us, okay, you've made it to the callback, get on your dance attire and get on those character shoes, let's go in there and do the steps full out. And I mean, we'd go in and we'd sing and we'd dance and we'd act our hearts out, and we would pray that we were the exact right fit for whatever role they happened to be casting. Character shoes are nondescript and ubiquitous because they are built to keep the show going. Whoever we needed to be, we could be whenever we were wearing our character shoes. If only I'd saved them for the stage. Through a slow work of grace, I came to realize that I lived portions of my entire life in character shoes, sometimes being a better actor off the stage than I had ever been on the stage. I lived my life with this twisty loop that ran inside my head and sounded something like this. Tell me who you want me to be and I'll be that. Tell me what character you want me to play and I will play it to the hilt. My character shoes assured that I could be anybody but me, anybody but real. I marched those puppies straight off the stage and right into the kingdom without missing a beat, ready to play the day's character. I was the embodiment of a performance-based believer. I lived my life like I was in the hunt for the role of a lifetime. After all, I was in character shoes, right? So I could be anybody at any time. And dropping character, a cardinal sin in the theater world, was out of the question. Because once you assume a character, you never ever let the real person peek out underneath. I was trapped. Those character shoes were super glued to my spiritual feet for huge chunks of my life in Christ. Until Jesus began to issue me this audacious invitation, where he said, you can drop the brave act. You can take off the character shoes. I've got so much more for you than acting your way through life. God, in his incredible creativity, used an acting life to save me from a life of acting. I remember one time I was asked to do a shortened version of the character shoes, and I was rehearsing the vignette and I was looking for the perfect ending for the 5-minute piece. I saw a stool off to the side and I dragged it over and I sat down on it for what I just knew would be the perfect ending to the character shoe piece. And I tried to put the old character shoe back on my foot. And you probably are ahead of me in this, but as I did that, I absolutely could not make it fit. Because when I wore these character shoes, I was a size 8.5, and now I am firmly a size 10. And it was like in that moment, God was whispering to me, see, it doesn't fit anymore. You can't take the new bursting life and activity of Jesus and cram it back into an old shoe that no longer fits. It's like he was saying, you can't pour new wine into old wineskins. All of this reminds me of one of my favorite scriptures. How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring the good news. I am so thankful to God that He has finally set my feet